Seems legit. Hello again, Legitimates. Welcome back. I have been meaning to make this bag literally forever and life keeps getting in my way, but I made a point, it is done and it looks amazing. It is the Isolina by Arosa. This feature fabric is the pre-order of Inklings and the Kraken, and it's got so many cute things on it and I love it. So I paired it today with a navy and did white stitching to make it look extra amazing. I love how this bag has come out. I love these too. This is just cute and it gets clipped into the side and it's just very well thought out. So the hardest bit about this bag is having the measurements on hand at all time. It comes together very easy. We've got a zipper top, and then inside I've put a zipper pocket and I've put a slip pocket on the other side, and I did my feature fabric again because why not? I can. It also has a little phone pocket here and a slip pocket. This front bit is a pocket as well, and I love it. I think it's come out amazingly cute. So if you want to see the steps to make this bag, please stay tuned. Guys, let's get started. I've got all of my pieces here and I've got all of my pattern pieces clipped to my pieces. So we're going to start with the lining, just because that's a nice quick area. So we're going to need piece B, both pieces of piece B. We're going to need our gusset piece. And all of these are, all of the just rectangle parts are in the list of cutting instructions. And I've cut out a Tory pocket because I'm Tory and I like Tory pockets. Would be the best way to say that. I also need to pull out my tail. I've decided to do the contrasting white because I like to do different stuff. And this is my third bag, I think, out of this fabric. So for anyone wondering at home, I have a meter. I usually get a meter of each of the fabrics, and I get quite a lot out of my meter. This fabric is from Spotlight. I just bought it as like a filler. Now I'm going to put you can put your zipper pocket kind of anywhere. It's the beauty of zipper pockets. You can have it pretty high if you like them high. You can have it low. If you do it high, you can actually cut your Tory pocket longer and have a bigger pocket. Like, world's your oyster. So long as it lines up in the middle, you are good to go. So I'm on a 2.5 stitch length. I'm going to start in the corner. I always put my needle down into there. We're going to stitch. We're going to turn the machine on is what we're going to do. Stitch, back stitch. And then just sew along that line. Other side, forward, back. And then back stitch, always back stitch to lock in those stitches. And I always like to trim this jump stitch so it doesn't give me grief. If we do all the trimming as we go, it's much easier. If you leave this jump stitch, you may find that your corner won't turn out as nicely. I'm going to grab my little green scissors. I don't hate these ones, they're just not as good as the red ones. It's very disappointing. But I could also just get my husband to sharpen them. Sure, he wouldn't mind. So we're going to just triangle out that corner, and I want a fairly chunky amount. I'll always eyeball it, but I usually eyeball between 3/4 of an inch and a full inch as my triangle. Nice and chunky will make it easier. So I'm going to finger press this down. Now because this isn't waterproof canvas, I am actually going to go over to the iron, push this through and iron it flat. Alright, so we've now ironed this nice and flat. I'm going to grab my zipper tape, and whatever size you made your zipper pocket, that's how big you cut your zipper tape. So my Tory pocket is always 8 by 12 inches because I have a thing that will do that for me. I have a template. I love templates. They make my life so much easier. But you can make this a little bit wider And the taller you make it, the bigger the overall pocket will be. So I'm just going to put my zipper pull on. The more you practice doing that, the better you will become, I promise. Then I'm just going to hold this flat, lay it over the top, and move that. Sometimes that doesn't always work out, as you can see. So I just want to line up the edge of the zip with the edge of the fabric underneath. And then the zipper usually just falls in line after that. So we want to come in front of the zipper, and this is where I'm going to start stitching. Needle down, pivot over the end, other side. Always stop with your needle down, lift up your presser foot, and then you can zip this closed. And that way, there is no bump in your stitching from the zipper pull. And then when you get back to the start, we're just going to do a little bit of back stitching because we didn't back stitch at the start. So make sure you go through 2 or 3 of your original stitches before you back stitch. And that will hold everything in place, and then trim off your back tail. So now, if you lift this up, line it up. So whatever your zipper pocket size is, 1/2 inch from the fold is where you want to start your zipper hole, by the way. It works for any dimensions. This is just my favorite because it fits in 98% of all bags. Alright, so I'm going to stitch the sides. I'm going to leave the bottom open for turning the bag through later. You'd be surprised at what you can shove through that tiny little pocket hole. So again, line up the bottom, stitch, back stitch to lock it in. Lift up your needle so that your thread comes out easier. And that is my zipper pocket done. Let's grab the other side. We're going to find the center of this as well because we need the center of everything. Right there. And we're also going to need the center of our gusset piece. So I'm just going to fold that over. Snip there. Snip there. Oops. Like so. And then I'm going to line up those center points and add some clips. Now, the more you sew, the more you'll be able to do this. I'm not going to put any more clips on this. So I'm just going to sew down the straight edge, and then when I get closer to here, I'm just going to use my hands and hold these in place like this. Different people do different amounts of fabric for your curves, and that is okay. So now I'm going to take these same 2 clips and put them up this end, like that, and like that, and then I'm just going to hold this. So basically I'm doing what clips would do, I'm just not doing it all first. Now obviously you can use clips. I will clip the other side to show you, but as you get more bold with your sewing, try and lessen your clips. It does save time, I promise. And if you're sewing for a business or you just don't have a lot of time to sew in general, it is kind of exciting when you can save a bit of time. So I'm now using my zigzag scissors, which are actually behaving today for a change, and I'm cutting off the excess. We don't need it there anymore. The larger the seam allowance, the more forgivingness you've got going on. If you only had a 1/4 inch seam to do all of this, your sewing has to be super precise, right? But with a 1/2 inch or a 3/8 inch even, you've got a little bit more give, and that's why we have to trim it off. Just makes it easier. Okay, so happy days, that's one side. Let's go to our other side. Now I have cut out piece G, which is our slip pocket, and I have cut one in our exterior fabric and then one in our lining because I wanted this to feature in the bag as well. I tend to always do that. Very rarely do I make the whole lining out of just lining fabric. I want to be able to see that pocket. So, stitch, back stitch. And again, you'll notice I didn't use clips. It was a small-ish straight line, and I have faith that you could probably do that too. So I'm going to just finger press this up. You can also iron it. No, I am going to iron that just to make it sit a bit more flat. Alright, so I've ironed it now. So now I'm just going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Now, if you struggle with 1/8 of an inch because your foot's weird or you're just new to sewing and getting that close to the edge scares you, just do a 1/4 inch. I have done it before. The main reason we stitch that, apart from it looking pretty because I'm using a contrasting thread, is to stop the edges kind of rolling. That's the main reason we stitch it. So, I am now going to line this pocket up along the bottom edge like so. And then I'm just going to top stitch again at 1/8 of an inch. Basically, you just want to do it within the seam allowance. So long as you're outside of that seam allowance, anything goes. So that's a slip pocket. Now you can just leave it like that, or you can split it so that there's 2 smaller slip pockets. I'm going to split it, I think. So you've got 2 options. One, you can fold it over and put a crease in it. Just rub back and forth, put a crease. Or you can grab a ruler and something that's erasable. So I use these friction pens, or sometimes I use this Chaco pen. I have just filled it with the dust from my pounce because it is all just chalk dust and it's all much of a muchness. I might use the chalk dust because it then does just wipe off. This one you can iron away. So, in the middle, draw a line. Now, you don't have to do the middle. You could do 2/3, 1/3. You could do a skinny pocket in the middle. So I could do pretty much this in the middle, each side, and so then I've got 2 smaller pockets and a pen pocket. If you carry a pen, that might be a really good home for it. These are all just some options. I always like just in half. I personally carry a pen, but I don't know too many people that do anymore. And I'm going to backstitch twice at this top edge because this is a stress point for the pocket, because that's when it's going to get the most kind of attacking every time you go into a pocket. So I like to backstitch twice, and it will just help that knot come undone over time. Okay, so this time I'm going to clip it. So I'm going to line up the center, and I like my clips facing the gusset. You can actually do it the other way. There is no rule saying that you can't. I come up to this top edge, work my way down. So exactly how I did it earlier, just this time it will be held in place. And again, if you're feeling brave, try and do it without, or try and do it with less clips. Only put clips in the corner. But I'm going to show you the full way in case you've never made a bag before and this is your first ever one. In which case, welcome to bag making. You're about to be a hoarder of fabric. Alright, so I'm going to come up and line up the top edge, and then I always work towards the corners from both directions. I find that easier. If I was to clip from here all the way around, there's a good chance this edge up here wouldn't be even. Especially when I first started, I can guarantee you that edge wouldn't be even. These days I kind of understand the curves more. If you treat it as a 3D object like I am, it fits perfectly. It's when you try and treat it as a flat object that things tend to not fit. And I haven't forgotten my zip, if anybody's wondering. I'm just going to put it on in a minute. So, we're going to stitch, back stitch. Stitch again. Put all of my clips back into my bowl, and then again with the zigzag scissors. Now you might want to check first, make sure you don't have any puckers inside. I know that looks like there's a crease there, that's just my interfacing being weird. The inside looks lovely. Always check those things though. Now this is going to get a lot thicker because there is now 4 layers of interfacing and 4 layers of fabric. Now depending on your scissors, that might make them cut better or it might make them cut worse. It just depends. Down and around. Right, rubbish in the bin. Zipper tape. So the idea is it's going to go from there to there, and we need a tail. The complete measurements for these are in fact in the pattern, but if you've met me, you know that that's how I work it out by now. When I first started sewing though, I was all about the exact measurements, I promise. But with time and practice becomes like a familiarity in the knowledge of how long you need. Now, I'm just going to crack the end just a little bit, and I'm going to pull this side down and turn it into a right angle like this. Now, I have lately been seeing people can staple this 100%. If that's your jam, you go right ahead. I'm going to stitch it because I don't have a stapler. And you just need a little bit. You don't actually need a lot of sewing. You just a little bit. It's to tack it in place until we sew the next bit. So the next one's always a little bit more tricky. You need to make sure it's the same, right? So you want to line it up so that the top is the same, which can sometimes be trickier than it sounds. There are solutions if you don't get it the same, but we'll go into those in another video. Just aim for the same. Right, and you want to try and sew close to the edge, not close to the teeth. You don't want to be close to this side, you want to be close to the outside because we don't want to see this later. This is just like a basting stitch. Okay, so now that that's done, you can separate it. The reason we don't separate it earlier is because we're trying to match it up. Now that that's done, separate it. And I know this step scares a lot of people. You gotta trust me, right? So the side where the zipper is, I always like my zippers to match. It's like a thing I've got going on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this here and clip it on. Now you can do this before you attach your sides, but then you've got to contend with the tails. And because this is right up the top here, I like to do it this way. But you can do it either or. I'm not the boss of you. Now when we get close to the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it down like this, 90-degree angle, and clip. And then I flip it in and under, and that's so that the tail doesn't catch later. So then we're going to take this side of the zipper and do the same thing. So you want the same, whatever gaps you've done anywhere, you want the same. Same everywhere. Alright, so I'm going to just go along and clip this down. Try not to pull on your zipper tape. It has got a bit of give. That's why it's so good at corners and curves. So if you stretch it, you could cause yourself more trouble as well. So then when we get to the end here, I'm going to again fold it in and down at a right angle and clip it in place. So now that I've got that on, we're just going to baste it all in place. Right close to the edge. Whoops, lost my tail. I always lose my tail at least once, don't I? And drop something. Hasn't happened yet, but leave it with me. We're not even halfway through a bag. Hold that out of the way, stitch down. Alright, so we're just holding this in place until we make our exterior. I'm pretty sure the pattern does the exterior first, but it's like 5 AM and I felt like doing the lining first. Alright, stitch, nope, did it again. This is what happens when you don't leave a big enough tail. This is a bonded polyester that I'm using today. I have a white roll of it. We're not as much of a friend as me and bonded nylon, but it is still nice. You can 100% use bonded polyester. Backstitch when you get to the end. Trim off those tails that were haunting me earlier. Any tails that you can see can go away. And so this is what you should have. So tail just kind of goes off into the distance, which is fine. And then that's it. So that is your lining 100% complete. I'm actually going to change my needle over. I can hear it's hammering a bit, which means it's blunt and it's time for a new one. So I'm going to do that, and then we can probably start on the exterior. Alright, it is now much more later in the morning, and I've had a shower and actually gotten ready. So let's do the outside. I am first going to get my strap pieces, all of them. Let's do all the straps, because that's pretty much most of what the outside is. There's lots and lots of crazy straps. I shouldn't say crazy, they're not crazy. They come out quite cute, but still. Alright, so double-sided tape. This is the 1/2 inch. You could also use your 3/4 inch for this. I also broke my nail this morning, very disappointed. But I'm not going to be able to get it fixed till Monday. Not that you guys know what day it is, because I'm pre-recording this, but still. So we're just going to put double-sided tape down the middle of everything. Literally everything. I had all of the pairs joined together in the tub because I just find that easier. This colour vinyl, I don't think I mentioned it yet. This is one that my local supplier just had. It is navy, but it's different navy to the other navy. I'm not sure if you can tell that from the video, but it is not my normal Galaxy Standard Pacifica navy. It is different. Alright, handles. Lots and lots of double-sided tape is pretty much where we're at. If you can't eyeball the middle, please draw a line until you can eyeball the middle. It comes with practice, like everything else. They're the handles. This is actually the gusset, so don't put your line down the center of that one. More pieces. There's a lot of little pieces, so I've just decided to sticky tape them all right now so I don't have to worry about it later. You can also put interfacing in these to help strengthen them further. And then my crossbody strap. So I'm nearly there. What you don't want to use is a really thin double-sided tape. If you've only got 1/4 inch or smaller left at home, put 2 strips on the outside, and that will ensure that it will actually hold. Yes, you use twice as much tape, but at least you're not wasting it. If you just put one really skinny piece down the middle, it's not going to help you out the way you think it will. So just a word of advice, you can do that too. All right, let's get some space happening here. I am going to start with the crossbody strap. Just because it's the longest. Actually, I should check my bobbin. Oh yeah, we're good. Always check your bobbin before you start doing straps. Or if you make a new bobbin for whatever you're currently doing, start with your strap with a fresh bobbin so that you know that you've got enough. So I'm just going to peel off a section and then pinch it together and push down. Now, if you want to, you can put a piece of fabric over the top of this as well. Now, this vinyl is not very sticky. That's annoying. It's not how I saw my day going at all, actually. So, because it's not very sticky, a couple of things you can do. If you've got an edge roller, you could roll your edges. I can scrape it on the edge of the table to help it hold in place, which works some of the time, but not all of the time. Or you can use your scraper. This is just getting a crease in those edges. But even then, that's still not working 100%. There's not a lot else you can do, unfortunately. If it doesn't want to stick, it doesn't want to stick. There's only so much manipulation I can do to it to make it stay where it's told. And this bit over here just popped up. So I'm guessing I am going to have to put clips all over this. Again, not how I saw this going at all, but it is what it is. The other option is more double-sided tape might help. And the last option is longer clips. So these alligator clips can actually go all the way across. Since it doesn't want to stay where it's told, we can just clip all the way across. I wasn't really feeling like fighting this today, but here we are. So I'm just going to put them probably every 1.5 inch. I'm not actually measuring, I'm just doing what makes me feel comfortable. You put them however far apart you deem necessary. Sometimes they might need to be closer, sometimes they might need to be further apart. These are just basic hair clips I got off eBay. There's nothing super special about them. I didn't get the fancy rainbow ones. Yes, they were prettier, but at the time that I bought these, the rainbow ones were like twice the price. I'm sure they're probably cheaper now. I bought these ages ago. Sometimes it is nice to have pretty things, but because I don't use these often, I wasn't in a hurry to spend that much money on that particular day, so I bought the cheaper ones. In a perfect world, I'll get green ones. It'd be amazing. Because I am really just green obsessed. Right, this is taking longer because I have to put the clips on, but I can only do what I can do. The other problem I'm about to have is that because they go all the way across, I'm actually going to have to pull them half off as I sew. That is the downside to this. It holds them easier, but it's going to be probably slower to stitch. Alright. Put them back in my green skull. And then I am going to stitch this side first, because then I can just half pull off all of the clips. Alright. So the clip will still hold the other half. This is going to be a very slow sew. Maybe I should have just done the other clips and done twice as many. The reason I don't like doing it the other way with the lots of clips is because it gets really heavy. And that too makes it tricky to stitch. I am starting to regret my decision of these clips. And backstitch. Now, purely because these clips are on that side, I am going to come back to the start so that I can pull them off easier. But, of course, you don't have to do that. You can also just pivot up the other way. Because the join's in the middle, I will still have to stitch some more. This is just the outer stitching. It does look nice with the pretty stitching though. I do love pretty stitching. Okay. So now I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch from that line, which just for me means running the edge of the foot along the edge of the stitches. You might ask why so much stitching, and the answer is because it will both look good and keep the strap secure. If you want to, you can turn around and go back the other way, like so. Oh, I've run out of bobbin thread. Thought it sounded weird. Alright, let's get some more. Alright, I finished off that handle for the last little bit. So it's got 4 little stripes, and the contrast in colour makes it fun. So I'm going to pop that aside, and then let's do the handles. They're not long enough for me. So I've done the long versions. The pattern has a long or a short option. I have chosen the long ones because I want to. No other real reason for that other than I wanted to. Long handles seem to be more popular on my handbags than the short ones. So why not? So I'm just going to fold it into the center. Oh, it's sticking better this time. I don't know what its issue was earlier. Pinch it together, push it down like so, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. I'm going to start with the short edge and head towards the open side. I can also say with certainty, now that I've changed my needle over, it is sewing better. The rule of thumb on domestic machines is 9 hours of sewing. I change mine every couple of days, or as soon as it starts to sound a bit weird. Because I do sew so much, I can hear where my machine doesn't sound right. Try not to wait until it snaps. That's not good. Obviously, sometimes accidental snappages happen, but if it snaps because it's blunt, it's also putting unnecessary force on all like the mechanical bits inside your machine. So I really don't recommend waiting until that time. Yes, I could go faster, but I'm kind of liking this rhythm. Consistency is sometimes way better than speed. And how pretty is the accent? Oh, it makes me happy. You don't have to do accents. In fact, if you're new to sewing, probably don't pick a contrasting color because you will see your imperfect stitching as a problem and then think the world is over. I promise it's not, but what I say won't convince you otherwise. I do know that much too. All right, into the center and down. You can start wherever. There is no rule that says you have to start at the end. I start wherever makes me happy on the day. Because it's the center, so it's pretty much always the same. Sometimes I like to work left to right. Sometimes I like to work right to left. It ultimately doesn't really matter. I do promise you that. Alright, so we're going to fold it over, and again, we're going to start on the short edge. You don't have to, I just want to, and then we're going to go back into the first hole. You can also instead tie that off, if that's your jam. I really have an urge to do some, like, quilting, like quilt lines. Probably not on this bag, but I can feel it coming. So the end, needle down, pivot across the short end. One more there. Whoops. And the other side. Backstitch a little bit. Trim off those tails. Alright, see how mine's a little bit twisty? All you do is go on the opposite, twist it up some more, and then pull. Ta-da! Amazing, right? So if you ever have a twisted thing, twist it the opposite way, and then pull it apart and kind of like try and stretch it, and it will sit much, much more flat. And that's usually the type of vinyl, because this is not the standard Pacifica stuff. This is like different weird stuff. Alright. We're nearly up to the part where I need to read the instructions. But first, let's just fold all of these over. half, and then I'm going to rub them on the edge. And the idea is that it creases the sides better, so it won't fling open. I can't promise that it will always work, but it is super handy. Nearly there. I know it's little, but still do it anyway. So we should have 6 pieces of stuff left. These are our back connectors. I do know that. And the front ones are attached to that cool front piece, accent piece. So that's why there's not more of these. So again, to the center, rub it on the table. I like to really, so I'm pushing it like this against the edge with like quite a big curve. Like my arm's going right under there to really get that kind of down and flat and glorious. Last one, and then we can go on to actual construction. Now, if your vinyl's not behaving, mine is now, but it wasn't before, you will have to put some clips. But if you do all of this now, then we can just concentrate on the actual, what we need to do. And hopefully they'll all stay where they're told. Right, pile of straps. Let's do this. So I've done the handles. Oh, it wants me to not even do them first. We want this piece with the cutout. And we want the other pieces. So you need pattern piece F and the backing, which it says to do in vinyl, so that it'll pop out here in vinyl. So put these right sides together. Now I'm going to clip this because of the tight curves. I can see it moving. I know what it's up to, actually, and I might do it the other way. I'm going to stitch it with the lining on the bottom because the foam's there and I don't want it to shift everything. So back to a joining stitch length, and we're going to stitch and back stitch. Like that. And then I'm going to take my snips, and in those cornery bits I'm just going to snip at the vinyl to make it more flexy, so that when I pull this over, it's going to behave more. So again with the clips, because I can't iron this, it's vinyl, so I'm just going to add clips and bring this right to the edge like so. Make sure you get those corners out nicely. Alright. Now, if you want to, you can increase your stitch length to something more decorative, like a 4. And then we're going to top stitch. This is both to make it pretty and to make sure that the pocket stays where it's told and doesn't kind of curl off into the sunset. Super cute. Then we're going to take this piece and join it to the rest of the pocket. Now I interface this fabric with a medium woven to give it kind of structure and stability. Pretty sure I just put all those clips on the wrong way, but that's all right. So I'm going to flip it this side up. So see how it's meant to like line up and be pretty? So I'm going to fold this back and just top stitch with a normal stitch length around everything. And keeping in mind, I might run out of thread soon. bobbins only hold so much. So we want right sides together so that when we look in the pocket it's pretty. Ta-da! Right. Happy days. We have done that. It also says to tack it here. I can do that. So just stitch and back stitch in that little section there. And that little section there. Mine's a little bit crooked. That's not going to hurt anybody. We can just even it up. Like so. Ta-da! Doesn't matter that's a little bit even, it just means that the pocket is that much smaller. Alright. Now it is time for the main flap, which is piece, I assume A, yeah, A. So this is piece A, and these bits here are going to be strap connectors. So we flip it over. We need a ruler and a pen. We've got some marking to do. So we're going to take the ruler and mark up from the bottom and put a line and there. So these are the things it wishes to know. So these are the things I'm going to do. So then we're going to measure down the side like this and draw a line, and same on the other side. Oops, ran off the table, that's all right. Done that. And then line it up with down there. So I've done that, I've drawn the line all the way around. And then it wants us to draw the seam allowance, but I don't think we're going to do that. I don't need to draw the seam allowance. I can eyeball that pretty well, I think. So what I am going to do is start clipping this together. Here along the bottom. I've got to add double-sided tape in a sec, but I just want to join this now like that, and on this inner edge make sure it's lined up. Lined up is important. Clips are definitely your friend, just if nobody's told you that recently. And any kind of clips. I plan on finding some gloriously green ones at some point soon. Okay. Okay, so we need our skinny tape, not our thick tape. And we're going to run it along the line that we drew, just on the outer edge of it, like so. This is so we don't have to try and put it on later, I am sure of it. Like so. Alright, done that. So now we are going to stitch the curve from here around, and then we're going to stitch all the way up in here as well. Oh, it's going to be so cute. Remembering to use the right seam allowance, very important for what we're about to do. You can draw it if you need to. I'm alright. Also try not to knock everything off the table. Straight bits are always easier to go quicker at. Right, and get back to that line and back stitch. Don't stitch past the line because that's where your double-sided tape is, so you don't need to. And then we're going to do this inner upper edge. Stitch, back stitch. Go as fast or as slow as you need. There's no race. And tight curves are tricky. If anybody told you otherwise, they're lying. Straight bits are fine though. Make sure that you back stitch so it doesn't come undone. Oops. Okay. Then zigzag scissors and cut this inner edge. The zigzags will help it curve better and look nicer. If you don't have zigzag scissors, please put them, just put little snips all the way through the curved part. I'm gonna go all the way up just because I can. You don't necessarily need zigzag scissors on the straight bits. Throw that out. Okay. You can also notch these outer edge corners if you wish. Just kind of cut them off, or you can notch them. The pattern says notching. This is like notching, but quicker. Honestly, way quicker. For me at least, because they're sharp-ish. Alright, done that. So now we're going to turn it through. So here's the gap. And then they just pop out like so. I'm going to put my hand in and work out the corners. If you've got a turning stick, now is a great time to be playing with that. So I'm just going to put it in and run it along the seam. What that does is pushes it all the way out, which is lovely. Look at that. And that top curve should be nice and curvable because we used our zigzag scissors. Alright, so with these side bits, pull off your double-sided tape, like that, and we're going to fold that in to the line that we drew. And looking at it, I probably should have done it to the other side as well, which I will in a minute. And this should then line up beautifully with your stitching. So your stitching line should now be in line with where you folded it. Because I didn't draw it to the other side, we're going to do it now, which does make it a bit trickier, but not impossible. Nothing is impossible. It just might have to be in sections. Do, 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 do. Alright. So there's my other line. More double-sided tape. It might be a bit awkward to put on, but it's not that bad, to be honest. Peel off your backing. And then fold this side up to the line as well. And then they should both match up beautifully, and we can top stitch it down. That is the name of the game after all. So we're going to line up the edges. Make sure that that's all the way out and pretty. Alright, we're going to need a lot of clips. I'm going to have them facing the top though. And then we're just going to clip both the sides. Like that. So So now you've got them both, and so from the front it looks amazing. Oops. So again, peel off your backing, and then we're going to fold the sides into the line. It's actually quite easy to do. Drawing the line really does help. Don't try and eyeball it. It won't work out as well as you think. Alright. Another line. Definitely would have been easier to draw it on beforehand, but that's right. Still not the end of the world. Right. Line. Double-sided tape. I mean, you can just fold the other side over without the tape and then clip it in place. But the tape does make it a bit easier. And that's why I'm using it. And I just dropped the tape on the floor. Well, we did all know I was going to drop something. Okay, and then we just bring those down, join them up together. Making sure that the edges line up beautifully. And even though I am putting a lot of effort to make this part all perfect, this will actually not be seen because it gets tucked in. So if your edges aren't 100% schmicko, that is okay. I give you permission to be less worried about there. What we do want to be worried about is this bit, because you'll see it. This is going to tuck under and into the bag, so we won't notice it. But I still like to get it pretty close to gloriously perfect. All right. So that's that bit done. Next. Da, 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 da. What do we got? So now we're going to stitch all the way around everything. Top stitch everything. So we're going to go up to a 4 top stitch because I like pretty top stitching. It's just my jam. Each to their own. So stitch, back stitch. The reason I'm doing the outer edge first is so that I don't have the clips in my way when I do that inner edge. Back stitch to lock it in. And then I'm just going to come straight to this other side and put it straight in and continue on. Clip there, just saves a bit of thread and time. And to the end and back stitch. Beautiful. Okie dokie. So on this piece with our little pocket, so this is going to go over the top like this and look fabulous. But we need to mark our, so this is piece B. We need to mark where the placement markings for the strap connectors go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this to the bag. And we possibly could have put these in first, but whatever. The pattern says do it now. So I'm pulling up this out of the way, and then I am just going to slice here with my penknife. Whoops. Ugh. So I'm going to have the blade pointing up away from me, and I'm going to slice through here. Penknife up, I'm going all the way through. I am doing a sawing motion. It also wants us to take out all of that. I'm actually pretty okay just doing the one, I think. Flip it over. You always want to do this the right side up so that you can see where your placement goes. And then line that up here. Add some clips so it stays in place, and then we're going to do the same thing again. So in and saw in line with the line. Like so. If that scares you, you can clip it to the back where you can see the line better, although I could see it fine. If that bothered you, you just clip it to this side and then you can see everything again. Okay, so that has gone through all the layers, almost all the layers. Try and put your finger through it. If your finger doesn't go, you've missed a bit, which is what I just did. Yeah, that sides are up. Okay. We're going to take this now and a ruler. And we're going to line this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find the center. We're going to need it later anyway. Find the center. We're obviously not going to clip this one, but what I can do is either put a clip on it or put a chalk mark would be another option. So it's going to go there. That is where that lives. Right there, like so, in center, done. Its position. Clip the faux pocket at the top. Okay. So that's where it's going to be. They want us to clip it in place so we can fold it back and put our strap connectors in. That is fine. I'm going to use these nice long ones and hope that they're reaching. Oh, good, they are. Right. So that's now in place. Ta-da! Long clips are good. Then we're going to take one of these, slip it on. Then we need to go measure up here like this using a ruler, and then we're going to fold this down so that it's in line. So we're going to pull this down until it's in line. You know what? Where's my other ruler? Oh, that's much better. That's why I have this ruler. It does amazing things, this ruler. So we just need to fold it down until everything sits. A little bit more. Like that. So that is where that needs to be. And so now, while holding that, I'm going to push this through the hole and stitch it down. Right, so that is down, that is measured, that is fabulous. And so now I can bring this up. I'm going to move that pocket out of the way. And I am going to stitch across here. Like that. Because it makes me happy to stitch it in place. Let's repeat with the other side. So, one of these on here like so. Grab a ruler. Oop, it shifted. course it did. I wonder if my long clips will also hold down the bottom here. I mean, kind of. Ah, would you look at that? So that goes there. This is going to go into the hole. Maybe. Or you could just let it all go, push it into the hole, and then adjust it afterwards. That's also going to work for me. Alright, so that's where it needs to be there. So again, I'm going to bring it in and under, and I'm also going to make sure that this pocket is down out of the way. And I'm just going to stitch back and forth there. Like that. Trim off the tails, so that's now attached. Awesome. I'm happy. Okay. So now we need to stitch from, make sure that that stays up there. You might want to put a clip there so it stops moving, because it does keep trying to move. Same with this one over here. I'm just going to put a clip there so it can't escape, because it is trying. Which I do think is quite rude, but what do you do, right? So, ruler, erasable measuring something something. So I'm going to go with my Chaco pen. And then from here, we need to go down, there and down. Oh, all my straps came undone. I knew I should have clipped them. And I'm going to stitch the pocket down back through the same stitching from earlier. So here and back. The reason I'm going so slow is because I'm trying to stitch straight through the old holes, which can be done. It just takes a little more care. And then when we get back to the start, we're going to back stitch. Beautiful. Trim all your tails, because tails are annoying. Flop that down. Look at us go. It's looking amazing. So, done the top stitching. Next, again with the ruler and a marking implement, we're going to mark where our rivet's gonna go. Oh, I'm so disappointed all that came off. What a waste of time. Rivet. Not that it's marking much. Okay, so I have marked where the rivet's going to go. We're going to put, we're not actually installing the rivets yet. After that, we need to measure down So from this edge here, we're going to measure down here. And here. Now all these measurements are in the pattern. I just don't give out measurements because it's not my place to do so. Alright, so that's rivet sections there. So we're going to punch the holes, we're just not going to put the rivets in. I probably am going to put that one in though, not going to lie. 1 and 2. One and 2. So these top ones, I'm going to put the rivets in here so I can take the clips off because they are moving and annoying me. Or do we just not put them in at all? Because that's so weird. Oh no, I guess we don't put them in at all. Alright, we will put them aside. I will follow the pattern because there is always method to random madness that I do not yet understand because I have not yet made it. Now look at what happened. It all came gloriously opened and annoying. So I'm actually just going to pull that off and start again. Should have stitched it is the answer to that problem. Should have stitched it. But that's right, I can do it now. Now this time it should go much easier because it does already have the bend. So it should come together much more quickly than it did last time. Like that. Alright, stitch, back stitch out of habit. Like so. Let's grab the other one and do that too. Oh, it all just came off. Knew I should have used clips, people. Here I was thinking I was being so clever. Should have used clips. Side, I'm going to cut off this strap so it's not weighing down the one I'm trying to stitch. Other side, and done. Looks lovely. Okay, now we need our piece of paper. Again, and so again we are going to mark the notches. Penknife, like so. So if you want to be able to see this, you can flip it to the back and clip it this way, just as another option. And the reason I clip it all the way down to the curve is so that I know that it's lined up. And then again, blade side up. And in we go. You could also on the back mark that and you then like use something else to mark it down. But I am just fine with that. So, here we go. We need to poke this through the hole first. First and foremost, poke it in the hole. Then I need a bigger rule than this. And so from here, it needs to be up 8.5 inches. Exactly, which is there. And I might just clip that in place. And then we can do the other side. Now I've got the join side facing up so that we won't see it later, I assume. I can always flip it if I need to at any given point. So, again with the ruler. And then this needs to come out a little bit. A little bit more. Apparently I pushed too much in this time. Alright, there we go. That's where it wants to be. Alright, we need a ruler. I'm going to get my little ruler. I just find it easier to use the little ruler where possible. And we're going to use a Chaco pen so that I can see it easy and just clear my space while we work out all these measurements. So, with your grid ruler, this will do, measure down like this. Do, 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 do. Ta-da! Right. And then mark down here. And again down here, like so. So we're marking 2 lines from this top edge here downwards. And then we're going to sew a rectangle within those 2 marks. I'm going to have to stop soon. I have an appointment to go to. I'm actually really enjoying myself. Alright, and then across that mark, in, down, and across. Backstitch, trim all your tails, and then we'll go jump to the other side. Needle down at the line, pivot, across, down, and then I've got chalk dust everywhere, but that's okay. It just rubs off. That's the beauty of chalk dust. Alright, we have done that. Now, strap connect. I can take this off now because it's officially attached. We're going to put our rectangle connectors on, like so. And then we're going to bring this down and in to the hole. And and then this, that's too far. Look at me getting carried away. And so then you want this in line like that. There. And then I'm just going to stitch here. My stitches are going to be on the outside because I didn't do the little thing, or I could probably just put a rivet. Are we putting rivets? Or are we not doing rivets yet? Oh, we are going to put a rivet. Okay, so I can just put a rivet here. Let's do that. Let's first clip that to there so it can't move. We'll do the other side as well. If you've done the little triangle thing, you can pull it through and stitch it to the back here. Right, out some more. Add a little bit more. You want these even. It is important to have them even. Right, like that. I actually think I'm going to stitch there because of the way I've done it. If I had done the little triangle thing, you can poke it through and stitch to underneath. I'm just going to top stitch. And that's just because this is how I do hidden strap connectors. Different people do them different ways. The pattern has it so that you won't have to do stitching here. I don't mind a bit of stitching. And then I'm going to put a rivet though. Rivets make things stronger. And I think that looks cute, but I'm into the stitching thing. I'm doing a whole stitching look. So we need to put one. We've got other holes to do as well, but the first important ones are here and here. And I can put rivets in these ones because nothing else is going to come in. We've got some other ones in a minute. So I'll do these first and then we'll come back and put in the other sidey ones. Caps on the back. Now is actually, after this, is probably a really good time to stop, to be honest. Just looking at my timing, I am running out of time. And I don't want to be late. Alright, so I've done that. I'm going to pop that aside. I have got time, however, to stitch all of these. I should have done it earlier. I don't know why I didn't. I do have to pull all of my dodgy double-sided tape off. Fun times. It is very sticky. I do love this tape. Okay. One down, 3 to go. I should always backstitch. I don't know why I didn't before. Oh, the sun just went away and it just got really dark in here. Did you see that too? Oh, look at this tape everywhere. I should have stitched them. Learn from my mistakes, people. Pivot, jump to the other side, stitch, back stitch, back stitch. Last one, and then we're going to stop here. Well, I'm going to stop here. This will just jump to the next part of the video. I always forget that. I can finish this when I get back. It is going to be very cute though. Whoa! the other side. I can cut all of these off because they are kind of in the way, let's be honest. Alright, I'm going to stop there and we'll be back in a moment with the next section. Alright, so I have marked the placements for the rivets on here, and I'm just going to take my side pieces. Now all these markings are in fact in the pattern, which is why I am not telling you about them. And I should have done these ones off camera as well to save some time, but I'm just using a white, I think it's like a Chinograph pen or something to that effect. So I need to go here, and then here, oops, try not to let it move. It is important to get your markings right because everything kind of lines up, which is cool. Alright, so we've got the 2 lines on here. Now I'm just going to use my hole punch and hole punch everything. I love my hole punch. You can get a hand one if your hand gets sore. These are a great alternative. This is a 2mm hole punch. One and 2, and we'll do this one up here, and the other side. Okay, excellent. So now we're going to take one of our little ones, and we're going to open this out, and we're going to put this end in here so that they all line up like this. So I'm going to grab, and I'm going to put it through here, then through this one, then through the other one. Maybe. We're getting there. Make sure your posts are the appropriate amount of long. Mine are just. And then we'll put a cap on. And then I'm going to squish all of that down and then do the same to the other side. So we want it out sideways like this. Squish it. Same with the other side. So we're going to open this out. I'm going to grab a post. Now if you've got posts that have no cap on it, just go up from the bottom. It's all much of a muchness, if I'm honest. So you could go bottom and then just layer them down and push them like that. And that works too. I want to make sure that it's coming straight out the side. Put a cap on. And then again, with the squishing. So now we should have this. We've done that. Alright, so our gusset piece, I'm going to just put this aside for a minute. We need to measure. I might get a bigger ruler for this. And I'm just going to use a pen for this because I can. So there, like that, and then we want to be in the middle. There looks like the middle. Okay, so we're going to draw a line there and there. And we can do it the other way where we do this like funky zigzag thing. Like that, just draw it on. Let's repeat that process to the other end. There's the middle. Draw, and again, you could probably just get the other thing and draw this. And boom. So I've got that little shape. Because why not? So long as this part is in line, because it matches up to everything else going on. That's the main point of what's going on here. So I'm going to take my stabby knife and let's do it the way the pattern says. I'm going to grab my mini portable cutting thing that I literally got for this exact moment. Okay. One end. Let's do the same to the other end. Boom. Happy days. Now we need our last two strap pieces. We're going to put this in like so. And we need to measure to make sure that that is the right amount of size up. Clip that on there. Same with the other end. So we're just going to poke it through the hole, measure up, slide that in until it's in enough, which is there. Grab a clip and clip that in place. Now from this side, we just stitch here at this top edge, not the bottom one. It's all relevant. We're going to poke it down later. In fact, poke it down now so you don't actually accidentally stitch it, but also be smart. And we're just stitching on the strap, not past it, preferably. On the strap, stitch. Oops, not stitch, because my thread came out again. I mean, it was bound to happen, wasn't it? This is going to be so cute, this bag. Okay. Probably unclip these now that they're stuck on, and we're going to grab the two side connectors. Now, if you want your straps to come off, you are going to put D-rings instead, and then put swivel clips on your other stuff. So this is what's going on, but slide it on, stitch it down. So I'm just going to grab all of this part here. So we pull that down as much as possible, and then we're just going to stitch over this. You won't see this, so it can be as messy as your heart desires. Although do get rid of the tails, because they can just get in the way. Alright, pop this on, down through the hole. Oops, not that much. That was a bit excessive even for me. Stitch, Lots of back and forth. Backstitching can be your friend. Otherwise, you can swivel it all the way around if your machine hates backstitching. Okay. So like this. And then we need to make sure that the rivet hole is the right amount of space down from the top to line up with our other stuff. So the answer to that is right there. No, wait. Yeah, there. So that's where we want our rivet to come. Like that. So you're just going to mark it off. It is definitely a good idea to have your pattern handy for this so that you can see where stuff needs to be. Yeah, cool. And then I am just going to stab down through all the layers. And same with this side. And then this will come through all of these layers like so. Now we're going to rivet it now, or do we stitch it first? No, we're going to stitch it first and then we'll rivet them on. But the idea is this is now going to pass over here, be all of that, and then come around to the front. So I'm going to take both of these, bring them to the center, clip them together so that they stay out of where I'm trying to stitch. And we're going to find the center like we always do for literally everything ever. Because centers are just the easy way to cope. And there. Alright. Move them over. So then, line up here. Whoopsies. Grab the center. Work my way out. Like so. So I'm just going to clip the straight bottom and then I'm going to come to the side and then clip from the top down, making sure that all of my clips are facing the gusset piece. You can make them face the other way if you're using a cylinder arm, as that might be easier. Might not be too. Right, and always put more clips in the corners because they're always a little bit more tricky. So here, clip, work my way down. Whoops. This is actually not bad vinyl to work with. It's a little bit lighter than the standard Pacifica. It's not bad. It doesn't have a name before you guys ask me. It was just a random one the guy had in his shop. And he doesn't have it in all the colours. Alright, tidy up my space and let's do this. So, I am going to start here. And we're going to go to a joining stitch length. I'm going to start a little bit in and start by back stitching. It stops things getting too thick. And I'm also going to move these before I spill them because that would not be a fun day for me. At all, in fact. Right, and we're going to clean up our clips as we go. And backstitch. And then, now you can either use your zigzag scissors or your other ones. It's up to you which ones you prefer. These zigzag scissors are working perfectly on this. It depends on how sharp your scissors are. I found that the Semco brand from Spotlight were terrible. The Triumph ones were okay, but only lasted me about a year. These are the ones that have lasted the longest. But like everything, nothing lasts forever. I understand that. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can take this and line up the rivets now that we've trimmed that off. So we're going to go through here and then through here. Maybe. There it goes. Cap on the back. Alright, and then once we squish it on and we turn the bag out, see? It looks fancy, especially because I've done the different coloured stitching. The main thing about this particular pattern is you'll just need to know all the measurements. Once you've got your measurements sorted, the pattern itself is not tricky. I'll just need it here so I know which bit goes where. Alright, so if I turn this out, let's just have a look. If I turn this out, looks amazing. Beautiful. Alright, let's turn it back in and grab our front. So we're going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to go to the middle, work my way out. I'm going to move these so I don't spill them because I really don't want to do that today. No time for such things. The meeting went longer than expected, and it's not long before I have to go get my child again. So this is so cute though. I regret nothing. For those of you that don't know, I now have a tape that says that. So every time somebody buys a bag from me, it's going to have tape on it that says, I regret nothing. Because I am that childish. And it makes me happy. Alright, work towards the corner. Clip her down. Lots of clips in corners because things like to move. Because they're jerks. Flip it over. Let's do this. So I'm still just on a joining stitch length. Oh, and the sun just went behind clouds again. It gets dramatically different in here when that happens. This thread sounds very different from my normal thread in the sewing machine. Which is weird, because it's not really. Alright, pop all of that in there. Now this is trying to pinch right now. I can see it. I know you can't see it, but I can see it's trying to pinch. You just got to really swing that curve around and it will stop that immediately. Back stitch. Oh no, I missed that. That's alright. I can deal with that. So pretty. Alright, let's flip it through. Maybe. probably should have done piping. I did seriously consider it. I was going to do like a sparkle glitter one. But I didn't. Alright, so then this, you're just going to fold it over so it goes over that other hole that we made earlier. Tuck that pocket in. Don't worry about that. So then this is going to come and be like this. So it goes all the way around. And I love it. Alright. I'm going to take out my rivets I put on the sides. Purely because I missed one of the flaps and it's annoying me. I don't know if you can see me fiddle with it. I'm like, should I leave it? The answer is no, I will take it off. So, the easiest way, I use side cutters. Each person uses whatever they want to use. And then I just literally peel it. It's always easier if you grab the cap. But remember how I did one way and one the other? Yeah, I don't remember which one was which. So, usually the cap will just peel off. Or you can get your snippers under it. Maybe, maybe not. And literally chop the head off it. This takes a lot of arm strength though. Or a lot of manipulation about going round and round in different angles to chop it at different angles. One side will always come off, but either way, that's that off. So now we're just going to get another one, do it again, but do it properly this time. So, through here, through that one, and then I've just got to make sure I put that one on as well. So that we get all the layers. Because it's just going to make me happier than it floating around in the bag. Right, that's now all the layers. Much better. Hang this off the edge. Clamp it down. Same with the other side. So I'm taking this one off too. Move that out of my way. So I'm just going to take the side snippers, get under it, and peel off the top. Did you see that? I saw that. The hole, there's the cap in my hand. It just peeled off the top. And then we squish the rest of this, and then it should just come out. But the peeling motion is definitely what I have found most effective. Take it out, grab a new one, and go in, through, and then make sure we get this last layer here and bring it down as well. So don't forget that layout, but it's also not the end of the world if you do. You just replace the rivet. Squish. Oh, so back to the front. This one, we're just going to fold that raw edge in and make sure it sits over the top of there, like this. So it's going to be riveted like that. Is there a marking for this? I'm sure there is, but that's all right. I'm just going to grab my... I've got a green one of these pens as well. So I want it over like this, make sure that it's not too tight. And then there like that. So I just draw my little hole. Punch the holes, and then I'm just going to push this through here and then through here. Does it go all the way through to the back? It should. There it goes. I found it. You just sometimes have to maneuver it a little bit. Not all rivets are my friends. Or is that a short one? I have a bunch of different sizes in this. I'll just grab one that looks longer. So different posts have different lengths, and they send me all different stuff, unfortunately. So the ones that I never wanted to sell previously would just end up in my personal stash, and then I'll deal with them. And so long as the actual circle part of the cap's the same size, it's not terribly noticeable. The big thing is I'm trying to get a cap on the back of this, and it's being stubborn. So sometimes you just need to give it a bit of a helping hand. And by that I mean I'm just taking my snips and pushing the fabric around the rivet so that it actually comes out. Because sometimes I haven't clipped all the way through. Like when you rivet it, sometimes it doesn't go the whole way through. Right, that one, that one, that one. Of course it's being stubborn because I'm on camera. There it is. Once you can see metal, you're good. Smash a cap on there. Maybe. I can feel it. No, it moved again. I can physically see the cap, the post. Usually they just, there it goes, squishes together. And I'm gonna grab this and rivet that down. It really is being stubborn right now. Okay. Now let's see if I can get the other side down a little bit quicker than that, because that was very, very troublesome how long that took. So we fold over the edge. It's gonna come over to here. We're gonna make sure that we're not squishing the bag, so don't fold it too much that this gathers up. That's not what we're trying to do. It's just trying to be added and decorative to here. And again, make sure it's not pulling anywhere. Perfect. Tuck that under so it's even. And hole. Just draw it on with your anything that will mark it. If you've got a light colored vinyl, you can use just like a normal pen or something erasable if you prefer. Whatever's going. All right, so through there, then through here. And then I'm going to just start off with these because it was working for me last time. And then just push the fabric down and around the post. Now there is a lot of layers because I used foam. If you've just used like a base stabilizer, you probably won't have as much trouble as it looks like I'm having because the stuff isn't as thick. It's all just about thicknesses really. And the fact that the other side was super stubborn because that went on really fast. Okay, so we've still got more to do, but we don't need them yet. So we want to make sure that all these are down. I'm actually going to turn this back in the wrong way because I really do find it easier to turn a bag when the wrong side's inside. I don't know why, I just do. So, making sure that all of this gets tucked inside the bag like so, we are going to take our interior, and turn it right sides out. And then I'm going to have it so that the front pocket is facing me, and so I want the zip to finish over here. So that's how I'm going to put the lining in. You want to tuck down those edges, and then I'm going to start in a corner and line up those side seams. Right, then we're going to line up. I always like to do the small ones first, so let's do the other side seam here. And then we'll go do the opposite end. Now it might feel like it's fighting you. Don't stress too much. It'll do that. It's just stubborn, that's all. Whoops. Clipping all the way around the top. Now because there's a zipper here, it will be a 1/4 inch seam allowance because of the zipper. Now if you were doing this on a cylinder arm, you'd put your clips to the outside and then the bag will go around it. But because I'm not, I'm putting them on the inside. So it's all relevant to which way you're going. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to move these again because I really don't want to knock them over. Then, under we go. Start wherever you like. Make sure you're on a joining stitch length. And we are off. And that just sounded like I run out of bobbin thread. Is that true? Or is it? Yeah, no it is. Either way, it's not stitching. I didn't think it was. Fresh bobbin. New bobbin achieved. So let's pop this back under. Now if you need to put some of those clips on, again, that's okay. You also don't have to backstitch because we're going to go the whole way around. And we all know that my machine doesn't like to backstitch with a full bobbin. It carries on like a pork chop. Not that I know how pork chops carry on, but that is the same. So we just keep bringing the bag around and around and around. I don't know about you, but I think my machine sounds different today. I really hope it's not about to blow up. I don't think I could mentally deal with that. Alright, backstitch, pull it out, trim it down. Now the fun bit, we get to turn the bag through the zipper pocket. Now I didn't open my zipper pocket. I know a lot of people freak out about this, right? But if you just put your finger in front of the zipper and push down until your finger gets in there, it will just open for you. Alright, I am going to roll the bag up like a sausage. Take the pocket, bring it over. Sometimes this works and sometimes we need to go in and grab a corner. It could go either way. Right, and so now that that's over the edge, I'm just going to start pulling at the bag. Now sometimes it's easy to grab the lining first, and sometimes it's easy to grab the exterior first. There's the lining. That's a good start. It would help if I could grab a corner piece. So I'm just going to stick my hand into the bag and grab down the bottom. Now in the future, my life suggestion would be leave the bottom of the actual bag open and turn it through there. I don't know why I didn't. I always do that lately because it's just easier. And yet here we are. Yeah, no, I probably should have gone through the bottom of a lining piece. It is always easier to do that. I also don't want to pull too hard. You are likely to pop something that doesn't want to be popped. Whether that's a stitch or the zipper or, you know, I don't know. But just gentle easing, and I'm constantly spinning it around so I'm not just pulling on one side more than the other. I'm always just holding on to the zipper pocket. There it goes. Hiya. Oh, there it comes. Alright, hand back into the zipper pocket and push out all the seam. Oh my god, this looks amazing. I am aware I'm sidetracked. It's totally fine. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Now that I'm happy, let's tuck in these edges. Oops. Like that. And stitch the bottom of the zipper pocket shut. Now, you want to try and get as close to that edge as possible while still getting both sides. I have learnt my lesson on taking more time with this because quite often I miss the bottom layer. So we just pay more attention now. Tuck that in. Zip that up. Alright, so now I need to top stitch. Making sure that the lining is all the way in. Does look lovely though. Look at those corners. Alright, I'm going to top stitch it from... No, I'm going to move over to the other machine because we never do this, and that's literally why I have it, is for beautiful top stitching moments like this. Okay, so I am at my glorious cylinder arm, and Knuckles has just decided apparently he wants to talk to me. So, I've got a foot here, a pedal that lifts up the foot. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to roll this. I'm going to stop with the needle down like this, grab my pliers. Give me 5 minutes, puppy. Go on. Go side. I'm just going to squish that seam, and then I'm going to continue my way around, making sure that that lining is face down. This still doesn't love super thick seams. Never has, probably never will, but that's okay. Of course we're having drama today. It's because I was having such a good moment, wasn't I, puppy? I'm about to go up a hill, so sometimes you have to give it a bit of a helping hand. Like that. And I'm just making sure that everything's out of my way over here. Oh, of course you don't like it. Oh no, and I just wrecked the zipper tape. Good job, me. That's right, I can fix that. The zipper tape just got stuck under. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Just means I'm gonna have less of a tail. Not the end of the world. Not the most ideal thing to happen, but definitely not the end of the world. And so now it works fine. I mean, better late than never. I really need to start doing this more in videos. I do love this machine. I don't use it enough because I don't really know why. I got it for like top stitching, exactly like what I'm doing now. This is why I purchased it, and I just don't use it enough. Back stitch, forward stitch, and pull it out. Trim off those tails. These are blunt snips, as you can tell. Lucky me. Alright, so I
kicked out at here. So I'm just literally going to trim that off there and have a smaller tail. It won't matter. Okay, let's go to the hardware. Okay, so I have here my scissors. So I just need to figure out how much of this I dodged. You can see here, there's like a big loop coming out of here. That was my fault. Don't blame the machine for that. They are still awesome. And then I'm just going to chop this much off the other side as well. Like that. And then we can feed my zipper pull on. It just means I'm going to have a really, really short end. I mean, I would have preferred a little bit longer, but the fact that I broke it, I'm pulling the whole bag to change the zipper. It's not happening. So, zipper on. Push this into a triangle. Push the zipper end on. And then I've got this very little screw here. This has stopped being magnetized. So let me show you a little trick. Here's my magnet. I just rub it on it. Back and forth. Like this. And then watch. Oh, I lost it. Well, that's not ideal, is it? Alright. And then you rub it on there and see how now it's magnetized? So if it ever stops being magnetized, just rub it on your snippy snip magnet, snippety snip, and it works again. Screw that in. So that's that on. Now we've just got some more rivets to fulfill. So firstly, let's do these ones at the top because it's annoying me that the clips are there. What is going on? 1 and 2. There we go. It just didn't seem to want to line up. So I'm going to clip that one on. I possibly could have done it earlier, but just better to be safe than sorry. Same with this side. I'm going to put this one on here. And through the other half. Which again, being more stubborn than I was hoping for. Rivet, cap, and then press. Then I'm going to unzip the bag because all of these ones need to go through all the layers, and then there'll be some rivets on the inside, but it's going to hold all of these layers perfectly together. So I'm just going to go back through that original hole, push it all the way down, grab this through the hole, cap on the back. I know you can't really see. It's probably a terrible angle. Oh, did you see that? I nearly dropped all of those. And so now, I'll do one complete side. And so now you should have 3 rivets down like this. Okay, so we're back behind the table now. This is way easier. So I'm just going to start putting all the rivets in. Does take a fair few rivets, but rivets are cheap, so it's fine, and they look good. So we're going to punch through this middle hole, but through all the layers, making sure you don't get your zipper tape. Like that. And then we're going to put a cap through that hole. A post through the hole and a cap on the back. And I just threw it on the floor. It's alright, I'll grab it in a minute. Take the bag and squish all the layers. So that's the whole front done. Now we just need to do the back. So, hole punch. And I could go around and do all the hole punching and then all the rivets, but because I've got 2, I don't have to do that. If you've only got 1 press, go around, punch all the holes, and then switch and then clip them. So just clip it like that and then leave it and then come back at the end and punch everything. I don't have to because I've got all of this stuff. But not everybody has 2 presses, and that's okay. This is just the solution to that problem, that's all. Or wait till they're on sale and treat yourself to one. Christmas isn't as far off as people might think. Great birthday gifts. Alright, so that's all the rivets done, I'm pretty sure. I really hope so. Let's grab all of our strapping. Straps are next. So I'm going to start with handles. I am actually also going to grab my rivet spacing template. If you haven't seen these before, they are amazing. So I'm going to go to the end and I'm going to go up to the second hole, draw it in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and draw it in. Flip to the other end. Now you can have more or less, it doesn't really matter. If you want it to be looser, you do 6 holes. If you want it to be up more, you do that. You can have 2 rivets instead of 1 if you want to. That's the beauty of the spacing template. These are chunky rings, so I know I need 5 holes, but the skinny rings, you only need 4 holes. And double rivets, you just count the 5 holes from the second rivet hole. It's so much fun. I love it. Makes me happy. Okay, so let's punch all of those now. So again, if you've just got the 1 die set, you could probably do these at the same time you're doing all that other stuff. Just do it all at once. So all of those. Like that. Okay, so now when we take the bag, you want to think about if you want the join on the inside or the outside. I personally like it on the inside where possible. So I'm going to punch through the first hole, fold it around. Nope, okay, all of that's wrong. I want the hole, I want the join, so when I've got the handles attached like this, I want the join on the inside so we don't see it. If you've done strap ends, you might want the strap ends to be out so that you can see your pretty hardware. I don't have any silver strap ends on me at the moment. I forgot to set some aside before I got rid of all my hardware. So unfortunately, I have 0 left. I will be ordering some. But in the meantime, this bag will still look cute without them. Not our problem. Alright, squish it down. Next. So we're going to come around. I always flatten it out. And then we'll pop it through the hole. And then I double check to make sure it's not twisted anywhere. And can I just say I am really enjoying the accented thread color on this. It would have looked good with piping. I should have done piping. I'm also recently obsessed with the idea of piping. Since I now have a foot that makes my life easier to do it, it is amazing. I should get a piping foot for the cylinder arm. That would be awesome. Alright, these sometimes just don't want to squish together. We're not always friends, me and rivets. I feel like I've got a bad batch lately. It's been happening to me a lot, even off camera. Sometimes I can just blame that my hardware's camera shy, but... Oh my god, look at that. So, now let's do the back one. And then we'll do the shoulder, the other bit. So, we want to go in and up so that they're going to be on the inside, and you want to make sure the join, it doesn't matter if you put it on the inside or the outside, so long as it's the same on both handles. If you've done the cool accent handles, it won't matter, but it is just something to consider if you've done these type of handles, because you will notice and it will drive you up the wall, and then you'll have to take out a rivet like I did before. Because even though that didn't really affect the bag, it was annoying my brain, so I had to fix it. The strap was already stitched down, so me taking out those rivets was purely for my own brain's happiness, not for the integrity of the bag, because you wouldn't have seen it. I reckon this is the cap I had before. Sometimes the caps just won't go on. I don't know why. I think it's just a dodgy cap. You grab a different one, it works fine. Alright, so we smooth it out. We're going to go in and up. I also think that silver hardware was a good choice for this because I've done white thread. If you did, like, you could definitely do, and here's just an idea, this bag would also look amazing if you did like a goldy colored thread and gold hardware. So like even the denim jeans colored thread, you know, that like mustardy color, that would also look very cool. I mean, anything in white usually looks cool. Alright, handles are on. So now let's take our strap and our strap connector. Now these ones have a slight curve. They're not dead straight. So the curve needs to go up. It needs to be like a mountain, not like a cave. There's convex and concave. Concave sounds like a cave. That's how I remember it. Convex is the opposite way, which is like a mountain, which is what we want to do now. So, because both these ends don't need to be symmetrical and it's just one, you can just punch your hole wherever. My brain can pretty much eyeball a 1/4 inch. You can do it however you like. So put the cap on, squish it, and then I make the bag face me, and I hold this bit with the little tag out. I'm going to feed it down and through the right hand side and then go up and down through the strap. And I do that so that I get rid of some of the excess. Then I'm going to pull this tight and make sure there is no kinks, swivels or anything. And then we can come to the other side. I'm going to go out and in like this and then add a rivet. This is looking so pretty. I am weirdly happy. Alright, I'm also going to swivel it over so the short side's on top so I can make sure it hasn't moved out of place. Squish it down. Cap. Post, cap. I don't know why I keep calling everything a cap today. Post and cap. And then squish. Oh my god, it's done. And it looks amazing. Let's just move the camera up so that you can see that better. So even though we don't use a lot of the feature fabric, it definitely makes an impression. It looks amazing. So you've got shoulder straps, the crossbody strap with all the stripes, the accents everywhere. I really love how this bag came out. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and please like the video if you enjoyed it. I believe it helps with algorithms, which I know nothing about, but either way. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!